The loss of the concept of magical realism is at the core of the fake martial arts world in Huang Huang's film, Wushu Orphan, set in the 90s China, during a time when the country was growing rapidly economically, but many rural businesses were closing down, leading to rising unemployment in the countryside.
你知道我为什么叫你到这边教书吗？
因为咱们是亲戚。
是一个原因。
However, this film does not criticize contemporary China, but raises the question of what's the value of Kung Fu. 直个武术 Academy, where the story takes place, is meant to protect and pass down the true spirit of martial arts through traditions and culture. But in reality, it doesn't do that.
不写作业，他学到的知识没有办法巩固，很快就忘了。
The film shows how Kung Fu has been made irrelevant. The martial arts technique and ideology are all empty of any real value. At this school, the children are only taught to idolize famous martial arts figures like Bruce Lee, Jet Li, and Jackie Chan. Every morning, they high-five a poster of Bruce Lee's palm on the wall as they head outside. This system numbs the children's souls, transforms the school into a place of oppression. Each day, the children are subjected to listen to the principal and the dean recounting the history and founding of martial arts through the speakers, when those words should have been mystical and quietly internalized. Instead, the constant repetition turns it into a forced ceremony, stripping its original purposes.
更可以功成名就。
The adults are no different. They too are trapped in a dream from which they cannot escape. From Coach Youhu to Yu Hong's uncle, the school's dean simply follows the principal's orders. Lan, the school nurse, the only woman on campus, becomes the object of attention for both students and male teachers alike. Jiang Qin, the principal's son, after a leg injury, spends his days hanging around with the children, aimless and lost. Then there's Yu Hong, an uncredentialed teacher, who ultimately has no real reason to stay after everything, decided to leave. The only glimpse of real kung fu we ever get in other movies are in worlds where good and evil clash, and martial arts can save the day. But in this film's portrayal of the martial world, that is not the case. Here, it is a fake version, a complete inversion of the ideals that Kung Fu should represent. The children are not here because they are purely passionate about Kung Fu, but rather due to socio-economic circumstances, specifically because their parents have left them behind in pursuit of work opportunities elsewhere. This theme of abandonment and systemic neglect is exemplified through the character of Cui Shan, who is frequently bullied by his peers due to his dislike in Kung Fu and interest in academics.
你说什么？我都会背。
One day, Cui Shan runs away to the riverbank, hoping to catch a glimpse of his parents have returned. The film initially presents a joyful reunion on a boat, where Cui Shan is seen eating with his family. However, this moment is soon revealed to be his imagination. Cui Shan in reality is still standing alone by the river, and no boat has arrived. This highlights a painful truth, the sense of loss and the realization that although he grew up by the river, he was forced to stay at this martial arts school because he doesn't know how to swim. These details reflect normalized abandonment and emotional suppression among the students. Within this institutional context, uniformity is synonymous with discipline. Individuality is not only discouraged but punished. The classroom motto displayed above the blackboard says, "True excellence lies in mastering both the martial and the literary." Is ironically disconnected from reality. The film exposes a clear social hierarchy through the idea of wanting yourself to be better than others.
女人也太多了。 我还是留在这儿比较好。
but not to stand out. For instance, a student named Wang Chuyi clearly got all the math questions correct, chose to intentionally erase his work. When Yu Hong approaches him to talk, the student denies ever doing the test. The film also critiques the ideological foundation of Wushu itself.
就说明武力是用来制止争端和战争的。
While Kung Fu insofar as being distant from reality, the Wushu master who only appeared 4 times throughout the film serves as a haunting figure representing a tradition that the school has long lost. He could have emerged from the world of Jianghu, carrying the last traces of that martial world. The Wushu master's return toward the end of the film to fight the principal serves as the culmination of the story's movement toward collapse and subversion. For instance, Yu Hong's departure from the school, Cui Shan's suicide after running away once more, and the principal's defeat, leaving the school future uncertain. In this movie, realism is hard to swallow. Mythologism, on the other hand, is more beautiful. It allows those children to dream and forget about their limitations. In this case, it's the very institution that keeps them trapped. The Wushu master is perhaps a part of Yu Hong's imaginative character. The film presents itself as a kung fu story, but it operates through a distinctly modern lens. We have reimagined the relationship between master and disciple, as teacher and student. Brotherhoods now are between peers, and the very methods through which martial arts is taught and learned today. They open up an unsettling realization. The school, and by extension, the society it represents, is anchored in the decaying form of magical realism, where the myth of martial glory no longer has any hold over reality.